went from sipping coffee, being on my phone, just looking through Instagram, typing some cases and whatever, working on my work stuff, to help me. Dude, it literally escalated in a matter of seconds. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Varaidzo and I am so excited to be back today because I know I've been in and out of your lives and I've been so inconsistent and so unreliable. But I promise that in 2022, I'm going to strive to make sure that I am going to give you guys the content that you signed up for and to make sure that I'm consistent because 2021, I think I only gave you guys 2 videos. That is very sad, very sad, and actually quite repulsive. So I am going to make sure that 2022 is a better year, and we are going to be seeing each other more regularly, and we're going to enjoy our lives. So to start off 2022, I thought I'll do a story time. I already asked you guys on Instagram if you wanted to see it, if you were interested, and 92% of you guys voted yes. So I'm going to give you guys a story time of my labor and birth story of my daughter. I've already done something similar with my son when I gave birth to him. And if you haven't watched that video, I have linked the link in the comment section below, so you can always check it out. So after giving birth to my son, 10 seconds later, I got pregnant again. So I had to do the whole thing all over again. And so in the end, I had a baby girl, which is amazing. So now I'm going to tell you guys my labor and story time of my labor and birth story of how it all happened. The reason why I'm doing this video as well is because the birth and labor that I had, the experience with my son, was completely different from when I had my daughter. And so when I said, oh my gosh, giving birth is so easy. Oh, yeah, things have changed, okay? Because this experience with my daughter made me realize that, you know what, things can get really real in labor. And so I thought I'll share it with you guys, and I hope that you enjoy this video. Sit back, relax, get a cup of coffee, get some water, get something, because it's going to be quite lengthy. But I will try to make it less than 30 minutes. So yes, if you want more of this video and more of this story, stay tuned. Oh, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Do all the lovely things. And yes, let's continue with the video. So, first of all, I need to tell you guys that I suffered. I really suffered. It was a serious type of sufferation that has never been experienced by any other human being ever on this planet. I suffered, okay? It was tough times. So, this is how it began. You know how everybody's doing all these wonderful photo shoots, maternity shoots, and everybody's going all out with their shoots. And then when I had my son, I just had like a random shoot just to have pictures that I will look at one day when I want to look at them. But this time around, I was like, you know what? I'm going all in. I hired my photographer, got my fancy clothes. I even got a dress made. I was like, I was prepared for this shoot, okay? So this is me at 36 weeks. 36 weeks. The baby was due 4 weeks later, I think, something like that. And I was there doing my photo shoot. Went to do my photo shoot. I was striking these crazy poses. I remember it was a Mother's Day. Yeah, it was a Sunday. And it was Mother's Day and 2021. And there I was with my husband and my son. We were shooting. And then I had to do this shoot in particular. I was wearing a black leotard, and I had to lie on the ground and arch my back, do all these really sexy things that you do when you're not pregnant. Young girl was busy doing the worst and the craziest things of life. So in the end, I even told my photographer, I was like, you know what, these crazy poses are gonna make my water break. We were just joking about it, isn't it? Well, no. The baby was like, hey, you shall see. You shall see. So I did the photo shoot, happy days. I went back home. On that Sunday night, everything was fine. Monday morning, I woke up and I went to work like normal. But yeah, everything was fine. Everything was fine, except my workmates commented that I was looking like I was leaking. But that's embarrassing. I know, it's very embarrassing. But in the end, I went back home and yeah, because the thing is that, you know, when you're pregnant, you have a lot of vaginal discharge. That's just what happens. It's just more than usual. So I just dismissed it as, that. So then went home, made supper, just continued with my life like everything was normal. My husband, my son, we're there, we're watching TV, and it was bedtime now. So this is like 10 o'clock, and I remember I was so tired, and I just wanted to sleep and just get some rest to be ready for tomorrow morning because I have to go back to work. So as I'm in bed, lying down, closing my eyes, waiting for that sleep to come and take over me so that I wake up feeling good the next morning, I started feeling some trickles of water trickling down my thighs. So I'm like, wait, hold on. Am I peeing on myself? I'm like, I know I'm not peeing on myself because I'm not peeing. Because when you're peeing, it's a conscious action, and you actually contract your muscles to pee. You actually pee, So I was not actually peeing, but then water was coming out. And I was like, okay, wait, hold on. This is crazy. So then I was like to my husband, wait, hold on. Something's happening. I think I've got water coming out. So it was just like a little bit. Then I was like, and then it stopped. Then I was like, maybe it was just a little situation of like, vaginal discharge. And then it continued, like another boom came out. And I'm like, okay, what's this? So then I called my mom, and then I was like, this is what's happening. But, I really didn't think it to be the baby or anything to do with the pregnancy or like the water breaking, because I just didn't think so. I mean, it was just early and it was like random. Like, why is it happening today? Do you get it? So my mom was like, girl, you need to call your gynecologist. So I called my gynecologist and I told him, this is what's happening. And he's like, we need to see you at the hospital, sister. Get your bags and I'll see you at the hospital. So I'm like, okay. So at first I was like, no, actually, the whole time I was in denial. I was like, this cannot be happening. This is not happening. This water is just going to stop and I'm just going to go back to bed. I'm just going to sleep and just mind my own business, wake up tomorrow and go to work because, well, that's just what life is about. This baby is not coming. Like, I knew that the baby was going to come, but I just wasn't ready for it to happen that time. So I was like, So I decided to just get up and just check my bags, see if everything was ready, but there was just a few items that I hadn't, packed, like my makeup, because I use it every day. So, I mean, it didn't make sense for me to pack it because then I wouldn't have anything to use. So I was like, okay, let me just check my bags. Let me go to the bathroom and just get my makeup bag ready. So the reason why I wanted makeup was because I just thought it would be nice to wear makeup on the day. That did not happen, sister. It did not happen because of about what I'm going to tell you. So anyway, I then went to the bathroom and I stopped packing my makeup bag. And then I'm feeling that this water is coming out and it's just coming out. It's just trickling out. So then I'm like, but this can't be my water breaking. Because when you watch movies and people tell you about how your water break, they'll be like, oh, it's going to be like a big gush of water. And then it's not even going to be like, you see it on TV and it's like, poof, and people are like, oh my gosh, the baby is coming, That's not what happened. So I didn't have all that drama. Although my life is dramatic, I was expecting the drama. That's not what happened. So water is just trickling down. I end up wearing a pad because I was like, okay, this is not healthy. I just need to have something to hold in the stuff to get it. Got my pad on. Then I packed my makeup bag. I did everything so slowly. Remember, this water started trickling out at 10 p.m. This is now, I think I only finished and managed to do everything, getting myself together at like 1 a.m. So I went into the bathroom, packed my makeup bag. I even went outside. Like, I had washed one of my wigs and I went outside to get my wig and I straightened it, styled it. Because I'm sitting there like in denial. I'm like, this is not happening. This is not happening. My brain is not ready for this baby to be here right now. So in the end, I was like, okay, maybe this is happening. So my husband had been waiting the whole time and he decided to just sleep because I was taking my sweet time. So I ended up woke him up, and we got our bags and we started making our way to the hospital. We passed through my parents' house, dropping off my son and just letting them know that it's just about to get real. So in the end, we went to the hospital. I gave birth to my daughter at Health Point in Harare. And the reason why I chose Health Point is because I had given birth to my son at the Avenues Clinic, which is right now, speak for it, right now, it is the best hospital in Zimbabwe in terms of maternity and labor. I don't know how I ended up at Health Point. That was a very bad decision, but you'll hear more of the story. You will hear more about it in the story. So we get to the hospital and it's empty. There's nobody there. It's quiet. We are assisted at the reception, and they're just very slow, dragging their feet and not really doing anything about our lives. And then finally, we had a lady come through to collect us. We went to the maternity wards and no, the labor wards. Okay, the labor wards. And we are there, so they checked my vitals and they checked everything. And then the lady checked if I was really leaking and if there was anything to be worried about. So this is where the drama starts at Health Point. I don't know what was happening with that girl, but she didn't know what she was doing. Okay, so she checks, and then I asked her a question, and I was like, if let's say the water stops coming out, and everything's okay, do I go back home, or like am I supposed to be in labor? She tells me like, no, you can go home and just live out the rest of your pregnancy, and then you can come back again when you're in pain. That's not true. That is not true, people. When your water is coming out, your baby is coming as well. So I'm like, okay, well, I believe that, okay? I believed it because I didn't know until I Googled it. And then now, my doctor hadn't arrived at that point, but he gave the nurse the instruction to give me some antibiotics, because apparently when your water starts coming out, the baby is exposed, and then you can get like air that's gonna get into your uterus, that's gonna contaminate it, and then possibly injure the baby. So you get an antibiotic. So I don't know why this nurse decided to give me the antibiotic via that thing when they put that needle in your veins as opposed to oral pills. Anyway, so I'm there, sitting there, and she's like, I really don't know how to do this. So I'm gonna go look for a doctor that can help me. And I'm just like, why do you not know how to do this? You're working in a damn hospital and you don't know how to do that? I mean, like, what if you're playing with people's lives, okay? So in the end, she went to look for some doctor somewhere, and then they came, and then they put the thing, no. I think they put it here, yes, they put it here. It was put wrong because it was painful, guys. It was so painful, and I was like, this is not normal. Anyway, I had to just enjoy the pain because this is life, you know. And then now it's time to actually push in the antibiotic, and then it burned. Oh my gosh, I felt my veins burning. They were about to rip apart and just collapse. I was dying. It was a suffocation situation. I suffered. And I was like, no, this is not it. So I told her, I was like, hold on, this is not working. I think it's really burning me. And then now I started feeling nauseous. I started puking, and I was like so sick. It was like drama. I was like, oh no, this is not it. Anyway, she had to continue because she had already started. So I continued puking and I continued suffering, and then in the end she removed the connection to the antibiotic, and I had to be stuck with the thing there. And I was like, can I remove it? And like, no, you're not going to remove it until you have your baby and until you leave the hospital. And I'm like, why? You know, anyway, so I was like, oh, well, that's just what it is. It was painful, it was uncomfortable. And then finally my doctor walks in and he checks out everything, and the water was nice and clean. It wasn't dirty, because then if it was dirty, then the baby would have been in danger. So that was fine. My doctor was always nice. He always kept everything going for me, you know, so happy days for that. So he's like, I'm gonna come and check on you tomorrow morning. It was already in the morning because it was like 2 a.m. So he's like, I'll come and check on you like at 6 o'clock and see how you're feeling. And if the baby, if you don't start feeling any contractions by 8 o'clock, we're gonna have to induce you so that the baby comes, because you can't keep staying like this, you know. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So then he goes, and then I stay behind, and my husband is there, and we're just there, just, you know, waiting for the next morning to come. So 6 o'clock comes, and the doctor comes back and checks everything, and everything is fine. But now we're waiting for 8 o'clock to come to see if I'm going to have contractions. At that point, I had no contractions at all. I was just, you know, chilling. You know, I took a bath and, no, a shower. I took a shower, not a bath. I took a shower, and then I came back and still nothing was happening. But when I was in the shower, I saw a little bit of blood. I think that was the water plug. No, the blood plug. What is it? No, the mucus plug. There we go. Sorry. It's called a mucus plug. So that's the last thing that comes out when you are, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, guys. I'm a lawyer, so I'm going to get this wrong. Correct me. But I think that's like the last thing that comes out from the thing that holds your cervix in place. Not really, but that closes your cervix. So when it comes out, it's like a mixture, a combination of blood and mucus. So yeah. I think I saw that come out because there was a little bit of blood. So I told the nurse, and she's like, okay, that's fine, but are you feeling any pain? I wasn't feeling any pain at all. So I was like, okay, I guess it's gonna have to be inducement time. So this is like 7 o'clock, so we're still waiting for 8 o'clock. But anyway, 8 o'clock comes, and here I am, and there's no pain. So they're like, oh, we're gonna have to induce you. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So here I was, like, oh, this is just inducement, nothing happens. Is it called inducement? Induction, inducement? I don't know, you guys tell me what it is. So in the end, she comes with a bottle of water, a jug of water, and then she has like, I don't know, some medication that was like powdery, and then she put it in a little container, mixed it, and then she gave me. So she said she had to give me 2 or 3, I think 2 or 3 of those, and then after that, it should start working. After the first one, sister, let me tell you, the pain, the cramps. At first, I was superhero, superwoman. I had my laptop out. I was like, I'm going to be doing my work, because there were like cases I was working on at work, and I was just, working on them. So I was like, let me just do them. My husband had actually left. He had just gone to take a shower and come back. So it was like really laid back and chilled, you know what I'm saying? And then it went from sipping coffee, being on my phone, just looking through Instagram, typing some cases and whatever, working on my work stuff, to help me. Dude, it literally escalated in a matter of seconds. I was gone. And at that point, I was like to the nurse, please give me a painkiller. I had no painkiller at all. And when I had my son, they administered pethidine. And so if you watch the story, it made me sleep, and I kept waking up every time I had a contraction. But it just really sort of helped things. But at this point, I had no painkiller at all. Nothing, nada. I was there suffering, literally going, I was holding on to the bed and squeezing everything. And at that point, I started feeling like I was burning, like down there. It was like really, really burning, and I wanted to poop, and I wanted to pee, I wanted to do everything, but like nothing was coming out, like nothing, no pee, no poop, no nothing. It was just like you're feeling that sensation, and then you also want to puke, but nothing is coming out. At this point, my husband walks in, and he's like, Hejo, Cole, what's going on? I was like, yo, man, I'm in labor now. It was literally 9 o'clock, I swear. And I was like, oh, sweaty, and oh my goodness, everything was just hectic. It was hectic. I literally was like almost dying. And then I'm begging the nurse for a painkiller, and she's not giving me a painkiller for whatever reason. That was really annoying. So I'm like, call the doctor. Is the doctor coming? The doctor didn't come, because it turns out they were not even calling the doctor. Why are you not calling the doctor? Anyway, so here I was suffering, and it was intense, guys. I've never felt anything like that. Like, I had contractions with my son, but they were nowhere close to these contractions, because when you get induced, you are forcing your body to contract. You're forcing your uterus to contract unnaturally. So it is more forceful and more painful. Guys, I don't know. I remember shaking the bed. I was screaming. And then the nurse would be like, don't moan, don't groan. Like, just breathe. Yo, all those breathing lessons I was doing and breathing things, they were not working on that moment. I was like, I was suffering. It was like, oh no, guys, it wasn't it. And then, again, I started feeling like pushing. I really started feeling like pushing. And then I called the nurse. I pressed the emergency button. I told my husband, this baby is coming. This child is coming right now as we're speaking. The baby is coming. And he's like, okay. So the nurse comes, and I'm like, I need to push. And she's looking at me like, no. At this point, ever since I arrived to this point, none of the nurses had checked my cervix to see how far I am, what's going on with the dilation. Nothing, nada. And I'm like, I don't even know. So now she comes and she checks, she puts her little fingers into my vagina, and then she's like, oh, you're only 4 centimeters dilated. I'm like, what? 4 centimeters dilated? how many more hours? And she's like, oh, on average, it's about an hour for every centimeter. I'm like, 6 hours? Sissy, I'm not going to survive 6 hours. This baby is coming now. I swear the baby was literally coming. And then she finally calls the doctor, I guess. Because then the doctor walks in and I'm like, doc, the baby is coming. I really need to push. I'm sorry, I need to push. And then he comes. Literally, this was like 10 seconds. Okay, not 10 seconds. Let's just say less than 5 minutes later, after the nurse had checked my cervix and said 4 centimeters. This is like less than 5 minutes later. And then the doctor's like, what are you guys doing? Why is she still here? She's supposed to be in the labor ward getting this baby out. The baby is coming. Like literally the head was crowning and I was in the maternity ward on the bed. There's no labor equipment in there and nothing. So now the mission was, we need to get to the labor room because I'm not in the correct place. And I'm like, at this point, I'm pushing. I can't even do anything. Because you know when you get the urge to push, all you want to do is push. Like nothing can stop you and you can't stop yourself. So I'm there pushing. The doctor's like, yo, we're going to have to give birth in here. Sorry. You know, so you know how contractions come and go? So when the contraction comes, that's when the forced push comes. That's when you really feel it. And then when the contraction stops, you still feel it, but it's slightly controllable. So that's when the contraction stopped, my husband was like, yo, we got to go to this labor room. Carried me. We ran across the hall. She had equity here, you know, when you're naked or half naked, you're so shy and you don't want people to see you looking like, yo, I was half naked running with my husband carrying me, running across the hall, trying to get this baby out to get to the labor room. We get to the labor room and guess what? The air conditioner is on. Like, what the hell? Why is the air conditioner on when you're about to have a baby? Who is this nurse that switched on the air conditioner? Why is the air conditioner on? You don't have a baby in a room where it's freezing. You know, you're supposed to have the heater on at least if you really have to switch on anything. Otherwise, it was a nice hot day. We didn't need to have anything on. So anyway, I'm there and I'm like, it's cold in this room. Why is it cold? But then I'm worried about baby because the baby's gonna come out and freeze. Anyway, now that's just, my husband is there, is like, why is the air conditioner on? And then now the nurses are trying to look for the remote. Is anybody finding the remote? Nobody's finding the remote. So then what happens? My husband like, you know what? I'm gonna look for the plug. The plug was there in the ceiling, and my husband had to look for a chair somewhere and unplug the air conditioner because it was literally freezing. The drama of it all. Anyway, at this point, the baby is literally halfway out. And in less than 3 minutes, guys, it just all came out. Like, you just feel all the relief. The baby was out, guys. It was unbelievable. It was so unbelievable. It was one push, literally one push, and the baby was out. It happened so quickly, and I don't know how or what, but like it just happened. And I was like, wait, hold on, this baby is here. I was holding the baby in my arms and it was the sweetest, most amazing, beautiful moment. But here I am holding the baby with my night dress on. I'm wearing my own pajamas from home. I'm supposed to be wearing clothes from the hospital. Did anybody give me hospital clothes when I got there? Nobody gave me hospital clothes when I got there. So here I was with all the blood that comes out when the baby comes onto my chest, to my pajamas, and it was a sad moment. I'm like, oh, these people, they don't know what they're doing. But anyway, now it's time to fix my baby, check my baby's vitals and find out if everything is okay. And okay, they're doing that. In the meantime, the doctor is trying to get my placenta out. It took a bit of time to get it out because it wasn't coming out. So they had to inject me with is it oxytocin, I think, to get the placenta out. So the placenta finally came out. And then I'm shivering. That shivering that happened the first time, it happened again. Apparently that happens because your body loses a lot of heat or something when you give birth. I don't know, something along those lines. So you literally start shivering like a crazy person. I was shivering for a good 5 to 10 minutes. I was shivering, but the baby was here and we were so excited. And then we had to move back. We had to move back to that other room that they'd given me. So I went to the room and the baby is there wrapped in hospital towels and hospital sheets. And we're just waiting. The baby is not dressed. We're just waiting and waiting and waiting. Did anybody dress my baby? Nobody dressed my baby. Here I am. I just gave birth. I have to stand up, figure out all these dressing things out with my husband. Then we had to dress the baby. Now they walk in like, oh, the baby. You forgot about my baby. You forgot about my baby. Can you imagine the craziness of it all? Anyway, so I dressed my baby because people were not there. And here we are, continuing on with our life. Did we know that there was a vitamin K that was supposed to be administered? No. And did the nurses know? No. So it's not my duty to know that vitamin K is supposed to be administered. It's supposed to be the nurse's duty. So there's things that you need to do when the baby's out. I don't know, check their vitals, inject them with whatever they need to be injected. Put those things in the eyes, those eye drops in the eyes, all that stuff. Did any of that happen? No. Until the pediatrician came the next day. Pediatrician walks in. When did you have your baby? I'm like, I had the baby yesterday morning. And she's like, why am I only here this morning? They had not called the pediatrician, guys. They had not called my pediatrician to come through and check out my baby. And then so now she's doing a checklist and she's like, did you do this? Did you do that? No, they hadn't done any of it. They hadn't done vitamin K. They hadn't done eye drops. They hadn't done none of that. So I'm like, dude, what is happening with this hospital? Who is supposed to be doing what here? It turns out that there's only one midwife and the rest are just general nurses that know nothing about babies. And I'm like, no, guys, you can't open a maternity ward where you're not prepared. Like, you can't do that. You can't have one midwife who knows about kids and about giving birth and labor, and then everybody else is just general. You can't do that. You have to have specialized people. Oh my gosh, the drama of it all. In the end, they had to run around GPT trying to get my vitamin K for my baby and the drops for the baby's eyes. And at this point, I was over it. Next thing, they don't, I'm in this room and it's right close, almost close to the labor ward, and somebody else is giving birth and they're like screaming their lungs out like, yo, what? And I'm just like, I need peace in my life. I don't know, the way that they set up the hospital is not it. Because at Avenues Clinic, for example, the labor ward is 3 floors down, I think, or 3 floors up, but it's like 3 floors apart from the maternity ward. So you're not going to hear nobody screaming and jumping and kicking beds and doing all of that because you want peace with your baby. Do you get it? So here I was trying to enjoy my afternoon after having my baby. Somebody else is giving birth and they are screaming their life out. They're screaming their lungs out. And I'm like, yo, this is madness. But anyway, in the end, I was like, you know what? Let me just be nice and just continue this journey. I'm annoyed because I paid so much money for this place and this is what I'm getting. The service is very sad. Anyway, we'll move on. The next day, I had to be in the hospital. Oh, no, this is already the day that I'm in the hospital because I was there for 3 days. I was there on the day that I gave birth, and then the next day you're just there just for them to monitor you, and then you go home the next day. So now it's time for me to prepare to go home, and this is when they're supposed to come and teach you how to bathe the baby and do all of that stuff, right? Oh, and they're supposed to give the baby BCG, the injection, the vaccination. So the nurse comes with freezing water that was freezing, literally freezing. And I'm sitting there like, okay, at this point, I don't know, because I'm thinking, oh, you know, I'm dressing up, getting my bags together and whatever. And then the baby is like, yeah! I'm like, why is the baby screaming? I touched the water. The water was freezing, literally coming from the fridge. I was like, what is this? What is this? You're literally washing my baby in freezing water. I was so angry. I was like, you know what? Leave my baby alone. I will go and wash my own baby at home. It was madness. Now it's time for BCG. Do they give the BCG to the baby? No, we do not have BCG. Why the hell do you have a maternity ward when you don't have BCG? Like, I'm sorry. How are you a big hospital that has no BCG? Now I have to start looking around, driving around. I paid so much money to be here already. Now I have to spend extra money looking for this BCG. And I did have to look around for BCG. I ended up having to go to a public hospital and 15 times to join queues just to get BCG. It was just pathetic. Okay, so can I have the card for the baby card, where they write all the things that have happened and whatever? Do they have a card to give me? They do not have a card to give me. Yo, like, I'm sorry. Can somebody explain to me why am I paying so much money when I don't have any of these things of the basics? Like, dude, it was very, very bad. And I was like, you know what, you guys, I don't know what you guys are doing with this whole hospital, but you guys are not ready for having you're not ready to have a maternity or a labor department in this hospital. Somebody can die. You know, they're very negligent. They don't show up. They don't do anything. They've got general nurses taking care of pregnant women, all these things. It was just, I don't know. I'm sorry how it points. But when I look back at my experience at Avenues, I realized that, you know, the service there and the amount of experience that the people have there is unmatched. They really know what they're doing. Even the birth experience was so different. You could really tell that you were in good hands. The way that they treated the baby, the way that they took care of the baby straight after birth, everything was just so seamless and beautiful and just perfect. Everything was not okay at the Health Point. I'm sorry, I really am sorry, Health Point, but maybe things have changed now, but my experience was really, really bad. And I just really hope that, you know, they're more serious about what they're doing, because people could literally lose their lives because of their negligence, you know. Especially things like not giving me a painkiller when I asked for it, and they tell me I'm not going to give you for no reason. The doctor had told them to give me a painkiller, and then the way they administered this what is it, the antibiotic, it just, everything was just not it, you know. So in the end I was like, you know what, I'm leaving this place. But it was just God's grace that I was there and I was alive. But anyway, so that is the story of my birth, my labor and birth of my daughter. She is 8 months old now. She is the most beautiful soul I've ever met, and she's absolutely gorgeous. I'm so grateful. It didn't go the way I wanted it to. And if you were to ask me today, if I was to have another baby, which I'm not, I would definitely go to Avenues without even thinking about it. Avenues Clinic. You know, it's just going to these new hospitals. They would take your money. They look good on the outside, but then are you there for how it looks, or are you there for your life to be saved and to be okay? So definitely that's something that you should consider if you're thinking about having a baby. And the reason why, one of the main reasons I didn't go for Avenues Clinic the second time when I had my baby was because when I had my private room at the Avenues Clinic, the drainage system was blocked. So when I took a shower, all the water was just, you know, flooding, and it was just disgusting. So everything was just old. So I just didn't like that. But now they've apparently, I haven't been there, but apparently they've done really good renovations. It looks great. And so if you can, and it's more affordable as well. It's way more affordable than Health Point. And definitely they've got the equipment, they've got the facilities, everything is on point at the Avenues Clinic. So I would say go there definitely if you're considering having a child. Oh, I forgot to add that another hospital to consider that's not Avenues Clinic is Trauma Center. They just opened their Trauma Center Varaidzo. They just opened their hospital, their maternity hospital, and I went there. That's where I actually wanted to go initially before Health Point, but they wouldn't take my medical aid because I don't know what their reason was, because apparently it takes forever to claim from them. I don't know what it is. But so I wasn't going to pay cash because I think it's about $2,000 a day or something. I wasn't going to pay cash because, I mean, the reason why we pay a lot of money for medical aid is because when we go and give birth, you don't want to be paying or something like that to get it. So it didn't make sense for me financially to just like pay $6,000 when I was paying my medical aid for all this time. So yeah, from what I hear from people who gave birth there, they are absolutely amazing, and they have a great service. But I can't really say much. I mean, obviously, again, when you go there, it looks great. They have done up their hospital really nicely. It's nice and clean, and they really put a lot of effort in the decor. So it looks great and it feels like a hotel. But unfortunately, I couldn't give birth there because they wouldn't accept my medical aid. So check them out, Trauma Center Varaidzo. Anyway, so that's what happened with my birth story. I do want to say thank you to Health Point though, because they gave me a little present, which was very nice, because they even had their CEO come through after I had a baby to just congratulate me, which I thought was amazing. Very, very sweet of them. And they gave me a little gift. They gave me some diapers, baby powder, what else is here? What is this? Baby lotion, Vaseline, and some baby soap. So that's very sweet of them. I mean, it's the little things that count, and we really appreciate it. Their hospital is also very, very beautiful, but I think they really have to work harder in terms of really providing good service for their clients, their patients, especially safe what? What am I talking about? Making sure that their patients are safe, and making sure that they are not endangered, because you know, it's very easy to lose a life when you're giving birth. Either the baby could go, or the mother could go, or both of them could go. So it's very, very important to just make sure that you've got experienced people, qualified people, people who know exactly what they're doing. So besides that, everything else is great. Their food is amazing, and they've got a beautiful chef and great food. I want to say shout out to PP Emporium for this beautiful gift. I know this is so delayed. They gave me this gift, I think like, yo, when I was still pregnant. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Check them out, guys. They've got this really cute things on their page. This is a very nice soft toy for the baby, and then this you can use to hang on the wall and then put your diapers and everything else. So I would say check them out. I will link their Instagram page in the comment section below. So yes, I hope I haven't forgotten anything. That is it for the whole birth experience. What I do want to say though is that, you know, in general, when you're gonna get induced, it's gonna be way more difficult and way more painful. The whole labor experience is gonna be more painful as opposed to natural. I'm speaking from experience. So yeah, so think about it. If you have an option not to be induced, go for that option, because the pain is unbearable. Unless you want to do the epidural and you want to do all of that, then that's fine. I didn't opt for that because I wanted my labors to be as natural as possible. And in terms of stitches this time around, I literally did not have any stitches. I just had a little crack, which was, the healing was way better. I know I said it in my last video that I suffered with the healing because, I think I had like 8 stitches or something like that, which was really painful. But this time around, I just had like a minor crack, and everything went smoothly in terms of that section, and I didn't have to be like sitting in salt baths every single day for like 20 years. So I survived that. But yeah, that was the birth story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be looking forward to doing another video for you guys. And so yes, thank you for the support. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Varaidzo. And yes, stay tuned for more fabulous videos in 2022. Until we meet again next time, ciao.